we've got Dead Space 3, God of War Ascension, and Gears of War Judgment, and I'm just incredibly apathetic towards all of those games. And
Yep.
they're all big franchises, but I'm it's really bad. I don't care about any of them.
No, I don't care about any of those 3 games, especially because they're releasing right next to stuff like SimCity and Bioshock Infinite. Bioshock Infinite, my jadedness is decreasing.
Isn't it just dissipating, right?
Yeah, it's like going back and
jadedness, the
forth,
excitement's coming back. It's taken a while, but
Don't
I think it was
fight,
that
John.
it's that very latest trailer, that one, the sort of City in the Sky
Yeah.
trailer. Just watching that, thinking, oh my god, I'm excited again.
Damn, feel the
Feels
vibe.
good. It's back. The excitement is back. It still hasn't fully recovered to its sort of pre-delay state, but damn.
Post E3 2011 state.
Yeah.
That was. It's nearing it though. I went back and read through my written assessment of that dev demo, and I was transported back, and I was just like, "Yep, no, I'm excited all over again." While the trailer was on, like songbirds call in the background and like story-driven stuff. Her boobs have shrunk. Well done, Irrational.
Yeah, they've shrunk and they've covered them.
Good work there, Irrational.
Yeah, no
like
more
it.
of that cleavage-licious blue dress that tested well with the frat demographic.
Oh
Admitted.
yeah, you love those guns.
Soon to be known as the box art demographic.
Yeah.
We
Yeah, I
should
think
probably
it's the box
stop
art
chatting about it and
demographic,
get to
like,
it.
I mean, if it was a bunch of frat boys, surely, like, Booker and Elizabeth should have been playing, like, beer pong or some shit.
Or
Or,
Drug
like,
Quest.
at a college football game with all their shirts off.
Might be the level that we're waiting to see. We haven't seen it yet. There's
yeah.
a floating football pitch in Colombia.
Or, like,
they go
Elizabeth
there.
sitting on a, like, pinball machine as a bunch of frat boys leeringly start to group in around her.
Okay, we're going to stop that there and start the actual podcast. Hello, and welcome to the Game Buzz. Done.
What?
Not really. Right, there's been a lot of news this week. And we're going to kick off. It's a shame to kick off with this because we were so excited in last week's Pwnecast. But we're going to have to flip-flop a little bit now because Nintendo themselves have flip-flopped a little bit this week and talk about Nintendo's sales figures a little bit. Their slashed forecast. Iwata's continuing stream of apologies.
Please wait.
Yeah. 3 million consoles sold worldwide. That's not great.
It's not horrible, but it's
Horrible.
certainly not the sort of barnstorming success you'd expect from a new Nintendo console.
No, and it's forced them to lower their rather drastically lower their annual sales projections. Although they've reduced their operating costs, so their actual their profits are up for this quarter, aren't they? But yeah, the projected revenue is significantly down. And I imagine a lot of that has to do with the fact that, as we saw in the Nintendo Direct presentation, please wait for software.
Yeah, that kind of makes a bit of sense. I mean, it's like me. It's like you as well, Matt. We both said that we're waiting until we see more stuff. You know, we're excited. We're glad that stuff's coming, but why buy one now where we can wait a bit and the price might go down
I must
a bit
admit,
more?
I mean, I own a Wii U and did so since launch, and at the moment I'm mainly using it as a remote control to turn my television on, switch its input over to the Xbox 360 and play Griffball.
Ah, great ball.
Like, I'm mainly using it as a sort of £300 remote, universal remote.
It's quite
Or
cool.
great ball dominance. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Although you can't, it's important to note you can't actually play Griffball on the Wii U.
No, you can use the
Yeah.
gamepad to turn it over to the sort of Xbox 360, my Xbox 360 composite input, and then play Griffball on that.
Oh dear. But I think the more worrying news, or potentially for what it might mean in the future, comes in the form of when it was started by Crystal Dynamics saying, look, Tomb Raider's not going to be brought to Wii U. We don't want to do it half-heartedly. That sort of idea that if you're going to port a third-party game across to the Wii U, you've got to stuff it with gimmicks. It's going to take a whole boat, like shitloads more effort, and frankly, surely it's better to do a full job than. Well, actually, no. Well, surely it's better to do no job at all than like sort of a half-hearted, average clusterfuck of mediocrity. And that doesn't bode well at all, because if third parties are already looking at the Wii U and going, yeah, no, it's not going to be cost effective, it's going to be a bit too much effort, it's going to take a little too long, it's not really suitable, that's worrying.
It is. I mean, Nintendo just needs to keep up their sort of constant lobbying of third-party developers and keep getting them on board. I don't necessarily know if the Wii U needs loads and loads and loads of multi-platform ports, but yeah, it desperately needs more software, and it needs that software within the next few months, and it needs a lot of stuff before E3, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I think as well, you've got to put these figures in a bit of context. I mean, 3 million might not sound like a huge number, but put that in perspective to the GameCube, which sold 4.7 million in its whole first 12 months. The Wii U's already shifted 3 mil since November. The games are selling relatively well. There's a low attach rate, but because the games are very expensive, the Wii U is making a lot of money out of each person who buys one. Which is kind of a depressing sort of figure, really, because if you look at the sales figures, it shows that it's selling much less consoles than the Wii did, but it's much more cynical at monetizing the fewer people who buy one.
Talking of money, actually, speaking about money, Iwata, well, yeah, we've had a few comments on site comparing the Wii U to the Wii, as well as the Wii U to the Dreamcast. Interestingly,
that's proven to be very, very controversial.
The thing is, I don't think we can't really compare the Wii U to the Wii, because Nintendo knew exactly what the Wii was. They knew exactly how to market the Wii, and they did it tirelessly. They toured it. They boiled it down to a very high concept thing. It was a very easy concept to understand, and that's Iwata came out, in that investor call, and he's like, right, we've got one thing we've failed at doing is properly conveying this notion of Wii U, of what the Wii U is all about, and that takes precedence over the price cut, which I'm not sure is actually the right thing to do.
No, I mean, there's a lot of credence to what he says. They do need to market the Wii U better. They need to market it full stop in the UK, because they've pretty much just stopped advertising it. Beyond the odd Nintendo Direct presentation that only Nintendo fans and sort of invested gamers who follow gaming news will even know about.
Yeah.
There is, it's absolutely true that they need to improve their publicity. They need to get the word out there, and they need to engage with the existing fan base in a two-way process rather than just broadcasting facts at them every once in a while. But yeah, as I said in that post, like making it cost less might also make more people buy one. Like that's quite a basic way you could get more people to buy one.
Mm-hmm.
It'll kind of get around to Christmas time, and it'll be exactly the same price. And all those people that went, yeah, the only thing that will have changed, perhaps, is the fact that this is kind of crucial, I suppose. There might be 2 Mario games out.
Yeah,
but then
perhaps new Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, perhaps a Xenoblade Chronicles sequel. Hopefully, if that comes out this year. There'll be a lot more games, and there's some really exciting stuff for the Wii U coming out this year. But yeah, I think ruling out the price cut, because the price is one of the major problems for a lot of people. When we post something about the Wii U, a lot of people just say, look, if this was like £50 cheaper, I might buy one. But it isn't, so I won't. And that's one of the major problems. And I think unless Nintendo is committed to really massively stepping up their publicity drive over here, because, Europe is a big market, and Nintendo frequently forgets that. To surely slashing the price, not even slashing the price, just perhaps reducing it a little bit, or bringing out a fair few more competitive bundles, or maybe giving retailers more wiggle room to create more of their own bundles and to reduce their own prices. Might be just a simpler way of going about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think once the bundle is Wii U plus Mario Kart, or Wii U plus Mario 3D Mario U, or Wii U plus Super Smash Brothers U, um, those will be more attractive because those are definitely, or they will definitely be killer apps. They always are for a Nintendo system. You get a 3D Mario game, you get a Smash Brothers title or a Mario Kart, like one of those sort of Nintendo first party excellent party titles, and they will be system sellers. But they will be coming at a time that you'd hope that the Wii would have consolidated a little bit while it's uncontested, and Christmas. If all the rumors are true and everything's pointing that way, we've got that PlayStation presentation coming up later in February that will surely probably point towards Christmas for the Orbis.
I just really
that's going
hope.
to
I
be
just really
hugely
hope
congested.
I just hope the Kazurai will come out and just go, yeah, we got your attention. You've been waiting for this. This is what you've wanted for so long. It's Ridge Racer! That is all.
Actually, no, you've got it all wrong. It's going to be Super Rubber Dub HD.
Oh, nice.
That's the big thing. That is the future that they are talking about in this new trailer.
But it's going to make for a congested Christmas. Like, can Nintendo afford to gamble everything on Mario and Christmas? And being... Cause the thing is, if there isn't a price cut, though... Because the 3DS, remember, the two Mario games came out, it was still an uncontested handheld. Because the Vita got pushed back.
Yeah.
That might have made it a little bit more interesting, I suppose. But
Yeah.
there are almost certainly going to be a couple of consoles there come Christmas as well, with existing, and I think this will be key, existing convenience, existing marketplaces that aren't fiddly, and Xbox Live and PSN. And I worry for Nintendo, but I really hope they pull through, and they are survivors.
We might see Nintendo backtrack on this once we see some announcements of the next-gen consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like E3 could be a catalyst. Well, actually, February could be a catalyst, depending on what Sony announce. But yeah, it's a tricky one. The first 12 months are always tricky for a new console.
Yeah, that's right, and it's
at
only
least
they
aren't breaking.
It's been out really for 2 months.
Yeah,
it's sold. It's sold over 3 million units, and more to the point as well. Nintendo have drastically cut their losses with this. They're getting closer and closer towards the black as sort of their net. They're working towards almost a net operating profit here. So I think it's not all bad news, and I think that this year could be very, very good for existing Wii U owners with all these fantastic titles that got announced the other week. But if they're not going to do a price cut, my God, they need to market it, and they need to prove themselves to be capable of stacking up to the sort of Microsoft and Sony's big publicity campaigns, just to stay above water, just to stay current, just to avoid people completely forgetting about the Wii U, come February or come E3.
I think one of the key things as well was, and it's something we've consistently complained about in the last few weeks about, Nintendo of Europe, specifically because we're a UK-based site. Iwata going, look, we've really got to sort out our overseas markets. Like we're dropping the ball in America, we're dropping the ball in Europe, and we need to get those figures up. I really hope, I really want Nintendo to follow through on that, because I'd love to see the Wii U take off. I really would. I love seeing Nintendo win. I love seeing all of the big three of anyone win. Really, I love seeing video games win. But I really want that to be true, and I really want Iwata and Nintendo to follow through on that, because they desperately need to. Yeah. So yeah, let's leave the Wii U behind.
That's interesting choice of words. Let's hope that's not prophetic.
Let's hope that's not true. Let's move on to a different topic, shall we say? We're going to bring up EA a little bit, who have managed to run one of their most successful franchises into the ground, it seems. and put it out to pasture for a bit, which isn't a bad thing. I think that's a good decision on their part, but it probably could have been avoided if they hadn't tried to milk the franchise for all it was worth. I am, of course, talking about Medal of Honor.
Yep, and I think that I speak for everyone when I say that I really don't care. Like, the
Yeah.
original Medal of Honor was all right. It was a very, very much a Me Too kind of game. It had pretensions of authenticity that never really came through in the gameplay. And it was just another shooter, but because a lot of people, there's quite a bit of malaise surrounding the Call of Duty franchise. A lot of people wanted a competitor, and EA provided one. And the original sort of Medal of Honor reboot was okay, just about. And then Warfighter came out as one of the laziest AAA Christmas shooters of all time. And in fact, we in our sort of 2012 awards, we nominated it as the bullshit AAA title of the year.
Yep.
Because, you know, everyone else was offering more. Everyone else was offering huge campaigns and co-op and loads of multiplayer modes, loads of maps, huge amounts of content, and Warfighter just offered broadly nothing, and loads of bugs as well, and a really embarrassing day one patch. And it's you know, it got to the top of the UK charts, but it performed much below expectations, because it was thunderingly average and forgettable. And I'm actually quite happy to see it go. Hopefully they'll bring it back when they're ready to, like, you know, take it back to World War II or an interesting battlefield and do something. Just properly innovate around it, like they did with Medal of Honor Airborne.
That was a great game.
That was a great game. They were like, this whole thing is kind of stagnating, so let's see if we can try and re-inject some fun and innovation into this by letting you jump out of a parachute and choose where you want to land and instantly pick up the action. That was great.
It was great. I particularly enjoyed Peter Moore's comment on the whole thing, where he said the game was solid, but apparently we don't want combat authenticity.
No, in fact,
not what we want.
According to Peter Moore, critics were polarized and gave the game scores which were frankly lower than deserved. He said, lying through gritted teeth, hilariously.
Just like
fucking hell.
I can't. Well, if I was Peter Moore or John Ristiello or any executive at EA, I would blame that those internal critic reviews you got.
Thing is, everyone does that. I mean, you've got to do that. You've got to test internally, and there's the sort of mock review.
I'm not saying the practice is necessarily bad, because
everyone does. Everyone does.
What are we for if not for trying to help this industry grow in a way? That sounded a bit pompous, actually, but
it is. I mean, we're also here to crush bullshit when we see it.
You want outside opinion sometimes. You don't just want to be surrounded by yes men, because it's going to be ridiculous. So I'm not criticizing the practice, but I am going to say that whoever told them it was a really good game was lying hilariously.
No, that was an excuse then, and it was an excuse now. EA knew exactly how thunderously average this was. They knew it because they didn't issue review copies until the very last minute. They knew it because they kept flip-flopping on all the details about how long the campaign was and stuff like that. They knew. They didn't need those projections. They may have blamed it on sort of mock reviews or whatever it was, but that was a desperate and transparent excuse, because they knew full well how average it is, and they now, they're getting rid of it for a while, which is totally fine.
Yep. Actually, well, Ubisoft are another one that have, under completely different circumstances, another one that have put a little series to, or just notified the general public that they've put a series to on a brief hiatus this week. Prince of Persia is going to be sort of paused, I think was the term, for a little while. But Forgotten Sands came out 2010. That was a good game. We gave it an 8, I think.
Yep.
7 or an 8. But we've been talking about this for a few weeks. We like it's okay for franchises to take a time out, to like chill out for a few years, see where they're at, then maybe come back deliver something a little bit fresh, a little bit new.
Yeah, and it
That
means that
people have had
the
time.
developers can look back at the franchise and work out, they can look at their previous games and work out what made the series so engaging, what made it so popular, and can come back to it when they want to make a new one, when they feel passionate about making a new one, rather than thinking, right, we have to make a new one. Let's just, we have to make a new one now. Let's just try and get a couple of new mechanics in there.
I think also it decreases the tunnel vision if you put series on pause for a little while. You don't have that sort of developmental tunnel vision where you're constantly grinding out the same franchised game. So you
Yeah,
can go out
absolutely.
and perhaps make other things, and then maybe feed those things back into that franchise. And
It's brilliant. It's great when publishers and developers take this sort of decision for creative reasons. I think that's great. I'd like to see more people do that. I'd like to see Final Fantasy do that.
yes, please,
Please.
please, please. The other thing, going back to EA, I wanna talk a little bit, not very much, but I want to talk a little bit about Dead Space. What the hell is happening with Dead Space 3?
Well, what's happening is, right, it's going to cost about 40 quid new at RRP, but EA really, really would like some more money. So not only are they going to be sort of not only is there going to be a premium currency to buy in the game, which potentially comes with a whole host of fairly major balance issues if if this isn't just about side grades and cosmetics. But there are also going to be 11 pieces of DLC available on launch day.
Yeah, what?
What? I mean, most of
and additional story-based DLC.
Is there
news? That's not. I don't think that's necessarily being ready for launch. But
yeah.
soon after launch, lots of disturbing.
I mean, most of what we got here are basically armor upgrades, and there's a hilarious one called Witness the Truth pack, which you were talking about this earlier, and we hoped that it would just be EA admitting that they love money and we are cattle to them, but actually it's just an armor set basically. It's just a new rig. They're selling all of these resources, all of these weapons. They're selling an epic weapon and resource pack, an ultra weapon resource pack. They're selling capacity upgrades for your bot who's going to go out there and bring you back resources. I mean, this is not what you'd expect from a boxed complete game.
Like, we understand that these are changing times, so price points are going to vary. And do you know what? I don't mind a Microsoft transaction model predicated on free to play, where you're essentially paying for what you want. You're paying for a certain level of convenience, perhaps, but it's a very, very difficult balance to strike. And Wargaming got it right. PlanetSide 2 has got it pretty well done.
It's almost too generous, that game.
But yeah, this is a full retail product. There's clearly stuff. There's 11 pieces. We hate day one DLC. We've castigated Capcom for day one DLC. We're going to castigate EA for day one DLC. We did it with Mass Effect 3 when they brought out From Ashes for Mass Effect 3. That's fucking disgrace. What are you doing, EA? And the fact of the matter is yes, we can. It's a consumer choice, of course. Yes, if we don't like it, we don't have to pay for it. But it sets a bad precedent, and it comes with these horrible connotations of greed and cattle farming, and it's just unpleasant. It's like, sorry, that was a bit angry. Well, yeah. Carl, actually, I want to ask you a question. As a PC gamer primarily.
Hello.
This whole no frills PC port thing. I'm going to tie this into to the Chris Roberts quote in a minute. But yeah, does that bug you? It bugged a few people on site.
Well, this is the thing. I actually played both Dead Space 1 and 2 on PC. And I quite enjoyed them, and it was absolutely fine. But now that this whole almost straight port. It's it's an interesting. We had some interesting comments about it on the site where someone said, "Well, if they aren't getting as much revenue, then why should they put in as much effort?" Uh, my response is so
Wii
that they can get
U.
any money at all from the PC version. If you don't put any effort into it, and PC gamers realize this, why should they spend any money at all?
Also, my response would be that there is a huge amount of revenue to be made there because the PC market is continually expanding and it's
Yep,
lean. It's incredibly, ruthlessly expanding at the moment.
absolutely.
To the extent where we have publishers like Capcom, people who the PC basically only existed to like tot up their DLC bills on. Rolling out superior PC ports for their game now, and rolling out, the DMC port runs at 60 frames per second. They're bringing out all PC versions for all their new games almost simultaneously now. And because they know that the market is enormous, they know that it's just this. Several years ago, people were saying, "Oh, PC gaming is dying," and PC gaming is going away and it's all about consoles. Now it's the other way around. The PC market is absolutely huge. It's constantly gaining ground. It's free to experiment with new business models. It's free to push the limits of hardware. They're free to utilize a huge number of really exciting distribution methods that require almost no outlay on their part. So, yeah, I mean, this seems a seriously backward step for EA, who should be pushing a fantastic version of Dead Space 3 to sell through Origin.
You think
Perhaps it's that
they have
talk
their
of
own...
like the word freedom there,
They're
John. I
being
think they're a
shown
little
up
scared
by
of that.
they're being shown up in the PC arena by fucking Capcom.
The thing is, this ties into quotes we've had this week from Chris Roberts and Gabe Newell talking
Yeah.
about how the gap is massively decreasing, how consoles will not be as important next generation. Newell saying, look, Steambox is going to be competing with Apple, consoles are going to be left in the dust, and publishers, infamously slow to change their minds because they're enormous corporate behemoths. But there's a real chance that they're going to be left behind, perhaps, if they don't take advantage of this. And you only have to look at the Steam figures from last year. When they publish their simultaneous users online figures, fucking massive.
Yeah, and that's just Steam.
That's just
Steam. That's just Steam. There are so many other options out there. There's so many people who don't use Steam.
Mm-hmm.
The PC market is huge. It is ruthless. It is ready, and it is expanding every damn day. Hardware prices are coming down. Manufacturers are looking into new and aggressive new ways to get into the living room. They're looking for ways to bring out PCs that are much more palatable and easier to use and more convenient for console owners. You've got things like Steam Big Picture, which might, isn't a huge deal on its own, but it makes the PC gaming experience much more convenient, and compared to a console, it's the best OS around if you've got a television. So, yeah, I mean, we are going to see a lot more. We are going to see a lot more developers take Irrational's kind of view to PC development, which is we're giving the consoles a damn fine game, but we're giving PC owners just all of this awesome extra stuff, like just many myriad gigabytes of almost 30 gigabytes of textures, huge numbers of graphics options, new features, DirectX 11 support. We saw that a bit with Borderlands 2 as well. That came out. Was PC is so important. We kind of forgot about that with Borderlands 1, so let's just give them all the physics they can handle. So yeah, I mean, EA's kind of he's really missing a trick here.
I think to be fair to EA for a second, and to play a little bit of devil's advocate, I think it's more to do with Visceral being fairly limited in terms of PC development experience and knowledge in that respect. They've admitted themselves they've never been a PC centric studio, and EA after all took Battlefield, which PC massive favorite, and dear God, the PC version of that just wipes the floor with either of the console versions. But you'd think you'd get that pimped out. Like it's a franchise title, it's a flagship title, it's their biggest one possibly. Well, apart from Crisis
Yeah, on the
3
other hand, it
this
is
spring.
using, I think it's still using what's it called? The Visceral Tech engine, I think it's called. That's basically the Godfather engine. So admittedly, you're right. In fairness, there's not a huge amount you can do with that compared to, say, Frostbite 2. And it's probably not as easy to optimize. It's probably not as easy to gussy up in quite the same way as you can a more current engine and a sort of bespoke engine that's designed to be scalable. But yeah, it's still annoying.
Yeah, but
But
I
I
do
mean,
think.
to be honest, compared to the DLC, I don't really care. I'm probably willing to let this one slide. But damn, I don't want to have to pay for all that extra stupid DLC as well.
We hate Day One DLC. Everyone, every publisher out there, we loathe it. We will call you out on it. We hate it. Just stop it.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you have to use Day One DLC, at least make it a reward for people who are interested in it or who buy it early
Or we buy it new. If you want to stop people buying used games, include it in the box.
Include it. Yeah, put a bit in the box and just say, like, look, if you pre-ordered it, have just a bit of extra stuff. I don't mind that hugely. I don't love it, but I don't mind it. But yeah, it's just Dead Space 3. This game had better be fucking good, EA. I'm not even joking. It better be awesome. There's a good chance that it will be.
Maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, as we were saying before this podcast, it's one of those games coming out at the moment that, one of those franchise sequels coming out that I just can't hugely get excited about compared to some of the other massive new games coming out.
Yeah, it's. Do you think it's end of generation malaise sort of thing?
Yes.
Or actually,
that's exactly
or actually, franchises that seem to have reached, because actually when it comes to God of War, for example, and Gears of War, it's we've had full trilogies. We've had 3 games in each of these, and I haven't seen anything necessarily from Judgment or God of War Ascension that seems terribly different. Apart from multiplayer, I suppose, in Ascension. But I played the beta. I'm not going to be playing that multiplayer at all.
No, I think the thing about those 2 games is that they kind of smack of desperation a little bit. Not because it's the end of a generation or anything like that, but because they've come to the end of their respective story arcs. They've developed, their characters have gone on a journey from, their original states to sort of game complete characters. In God of War's case, every god is dead. There are no more gods left. Everything is ruined. Kratos is he has gone on his journey. He has finished his journey now. Gears of War is much the same. They've saved the world. The world is safe now. So both Epic, and I guess you could say People Can Fly, and Sony Santa Monica must have gone, shit. Where can we take this now? Fuck it. Let's do a sequel while we think about that. Sorry, let's do a prequel while we think about that. Because trying to, I mean, there's lots of places I'd love to see God of War go. I mean, I'd love to see him go to Egypt. Would anyone else like to see him go to Egypt?
That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, hell yeah, I'd love to see him go to Egypt. And just for
Kratos
no other
versus
reason,
Ra. Yeah.
there are loads of gods over there, and let's go and kill them. That'd be awesome. Or let's have some Norse gods, maybe.
Oh god, yeah. Kratos
versus Thor.
Yeah.
Yes. And you just know you'd get your hands on that hammer.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. But while they're working out some incredibly contrived reasons to do that in in the next God of War proper, then yeah, let's have a little sequel to tide us over until next gen. And yeah, that's why I'm not hugely excited about him. Judgment, I'm slightly more excited about, only because Baird is actually a ledge. Like I think I think that Gears of War Judgment could actually be a little bit more fun. Partly because it's being developed by People Can Fly, who, Painkiller, Bulletstorm. The fact that their protagonist is a bit less serious and a bit less hard-edged and always ready with a quip or two, plus with some more gameplay and those dynamic spawn points, I think that could That could work really well. But yeah, I mean, compared to something like SimCity or Bioshock Infinite or Revengeance or The Wonderful 101, I don't really, or GTA 5, I don't really care that much.
No.
I'd agree with that, to be fair.
You know what I mean?
Although,
It's
to be fair, if it gives you more options to use coal to go down slides, then yeah, I'll buy it.
Agreed.
Buy it right now.
I think we're going to have to end on that because we've. I think we've
Yeah,
run out
well,
of
let's
time.
end on the image of Cole going
Cole
down the
going-
slide.
Woo!
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah. We should end
Nice.
on that note right now before we get into a depressing spin like we usually do.
Thank you very much for listening. Bye bye.